my previous video, I gave the example of a hypothetical prophetic plane crash dream that could potentially save one's life as an example of the future being determined, but still free will being maintained. And you can check that out if you're interested. The reason why I felt this hypothetical example of a prophetic dream was appropriate is because I've had many predictive dreams and premonitions throughout my life. And so it made intuitive sense to me that this is a real thing and can explain these quantum mechanics that don't make sense from a purely deterministic scientific worldview. But a lot of people still don't believe in predictive dreams. I guess the only way they will ever believe in precognitive or predictive dreams is if they have one themselves. One of the dreams that I have had that was a very strong evidence for precognitive dreams being a reality is actually pretty recent. It took place in early 2025. I started having like these nightmares starting in early April 2025 about police raiding the house and property I'm living at and in. And they continued for several weeks, and I just thought, okay, maybe it just has to do with the Trump administration doing all these ICE and immigration raids, and that somehow affected my subconscious, and that's why I dreamed about these things. And maybe there's some truth to that. But towards the end of the month, the dreams would get more and more intense. And then on the 28th of April 2025, the dream or the dreams, the nightmares actually became a reality for me. Because in the evening after I had just gotten out of the shower and I was still in my underwear, I looked out the window and there were two police patrol cars and four sheriff's deputies in bulletproof vests, three guys and one woman. And they looked at me through the window, and I'm just like, shit, the dreams are becoming a reality. They're raiding our house. And so it was just crazy. So I feel that the dreams prepared me for the scenario, or somehow my subconscious already picked up that these cops were, I don't know, casing our house or whatever. It turned out that they weren't looking for me or anybody on the property, because I talked to them, but they were looking for a guy who had an outstanding arrest warrant from like 1997 that I had never heard about, and I still to this day don't know how they connected the guy to our address. He had lived in the area before, but never associated with the address I live at. And so it's still a mystery. I suspect maybe they were using some kind of AI, or that somehow connected the address I'm staying at to this guy they were looking for. It was just a crazy thing. But the dreams really predicted this. So this is one example, a pretty recent one, and a very strong evidence that predictive, precognitive, and prophetic dreams are real, in my humble opinion. And in the description box of the video, you will find even more examples of very strong evidence for precognitive dreams. And there's also, back in the 1960s, late 1960s, there was this scientific experiment they did called the British Premonitions Bureau. And one of the people that filed reports actually predicted a plane crash 9 days in advance of it happening. So that's really interesting. And I actually had a premonition. I was of the World Trade Centers collapsing 9 months before the terror attacks in New York happened. At the time, I was visiting New York, and we were visiting the World Trade Centers, and I was standing in between the two towers, and I just got this really bad feeling that they will collapse and that I needed to get out of the area. Of course, at the time, I had no idea how they could collapse and that it would be a terror attack. But this is another example of a not a dream premonition I had, but like a vision I had that came true 9 months later. So if you have any examples of predictive or prophetic dreams, leave them in the comments. I'd be really interested. So thanks for your attention, and let's keep exploring the quantum and paranormal realms together.